All right. He's probably going to win.
All right, well, this is the message that sent everything into motion. Daniel Battle said he wanted to see a mod versus mod chess battle, Blunder Ghost versus Rob. And this is Nelson's reaction.
Oh, mod versus mod chess battle. That might actually be fun to see.
All right, so here's that game real quick. I'm not going to show you all of it, but yes, Rob is higher elo than me, and so chess.com took away a piece, which would kind of end up evening the playing field. I started playing the Caro here, and I played this move on chess like natural, like, okay, this is where the pieces go, this, but I could have definitely checked here and took the bishop sooner, and this is where I noticed that, and so I decided just to take the knight and then check and take that piece. So from there, I actually held my ground and I actually won the game on time, which was great. And apparently, while we were playing this game, I guess chat voted on the winner should play Nelson in an odds game. And after I finished this game, Nelson said this.
All right. So, Steven, if you are up for it, I will challenge you now, and we'll do the same kind of thing. We'll do an odds game.
My anxiety level is pretty high. Like, I'm shaking. I really have a shake. Like, we just played in front of 1,200 people live on Nelson's stream, which I appreciate, letting us do that on your time, Nelson. That's awesome. But I'm nervous, and now knowing that I'm going to be playing Nelson in an odds match, like, crazy. And I don't do well already with anxiety. I had a stressful childhood. I was in the military. I was a security forces canine handler. I was in Iraq in 2003, 2005, and Afghanistan in 2009. So anxiety is kind of built into my system. And so I agreed, and I wanted to play, and this is how the match went. All right, as you can see, Nelson is missing 3 pieces, and I probably should have took that into effect to determine what I should play first, but my mind is already scrambled from the first game, and I went with an opening that was taught in his Breaking 1500 course, which really helped me actually get to the elo I am right now, 1265, and I'm hoping to break 1500 this year. So if you guys want to follow along with my journey, please consider subscribing, liking, and all that jazz. So Nelson plays e4. I decide to play the Owens defense. Typical opening here. Nelson is playing all the good moves. I know this. There's no knight to come out here, so instead of bringing out my bishop, like I try to think, this is the best space for that. And then there's the opening right there, and I felt good. I still felt nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen here in this. And then Nelson goes g4. And I've played a few games like this before, and I'm thinking, okay, the pawn storm might happen. I'm just sitting there looking at my screen, and I'm double thinking things, and it's just a mess, and I'm literally shaking. Like, the adrenaline is flowing. So I see his queen, and I decide to move my rook to X-ray, just in case. And then he plays this, and it like solidifies in my brain, like, okay, here it is. Here's the pawn storm. Usually when people attack on your flanks, you're supposed to attack in the center. So I was thinking about that, but I saw with this move, he could lock it up. Typically, I think you play like d6 to stop the knight from coming in, but there's no knight here on this position. And so I'm just thinking develop and aim for that piece, because it's undefended. I know I'm blocking in my bishop, but still in this position, it's good. Typically, the knight goes to d7, but sometimes it is okay on c6, and it is in this position, so that's nice. And Nelson defends. Easy stuff. In my thoughts, I'm still thinking the pawn storm's it's coming, so I'm figuring like, okay, I have to play moves where he's kind of distracted from playing the pawns. So I do end up attacking the center, and of course he naturally just locks it up. This position right here, I think I took a little bit of time. I'm just like, okay, in this position right here, the only move I have is to move my knight. I thought, I didn't even think of moving the bishop here because like I didn't want to lose any more pieces. And my goal is basically to attack and take his pieces because he's already missing 3. And I have to do things like that. And then I saw this move from Nelson, and I'm just nervous. Like, the pawn storm's coming; it's on its way. So, like, naturally, I'm thinking I need to distract and attack. That was my plan. So in this position, I took some time, and I figured I do have extra material. Maybe I could sacrifice. And I looked at this move, and I looked at this move. Because I'm feeling kind of cramped here. Like all my pieces are like squished together. And I briefly looked at knight takes e5, and I didn't do anything because I didn't calculate past that. I saw the 2 pawns here and I didn't think anything of it. But I think actually this is the best move. Looking at this sacrifice, I noticed it does attack a higher piece. And at the same time, I noticed at that time that the king is on the c file. And so I thought about this takes and then playing c5 so I could open up the c file. Like, I thought that was good material management, I guess. And it opens up the c file. So I'm losing some material, but I'm getting the c file. Like, I feel like that's a good trade-off. So I did indeed play that move, and he took. And then from there, I'm like, okay, yeah, I have to play this. So this is what I was thinking. And then instead of taking or, he didn't have to take. If he did take, I was going to move my king, but he's a national master. Like, he's pretty accurate on everything. And so I saw this pawn move, and I'm just like, I'm losing it, like, mentally and physically. I'm losing it because I want to do my best. When you play chess games, you want to do your best, especially if you're playing a higher ranked opponent. So from there, yes, I opened up the file. Like, this is what I wanted. And he moved over his rook. And if you notice, like, the pressure is crazy here, and I'm feeling it. I see it and I feel it. And I think at this point, I know my C file's open, but also there's ways he can get in and he can checkmate me. So the threat is real, and I think the queen can come over here. Like, if he opens up my H file, like, so I move over my rook. It's the thing to do. Well, let me get rid of those lines. And he moves his king over. That's natural. And I do bring my knight to c5. And my thoughts about this is I want to attack and I want to try to take pieces. So I'm attacking the bishop. This bishop needs to go. That's my thought. Attack the bishop. Thoughts about bringing the queen up into this area at this time. That was my thoughts about it. And the pawn storm is still coming. This is like a steady, slow, like, each pawn move is like a level of anxiety that just keeps on adding, so many different levels. Since he moved that pawn, yes, I'm going to take the bishop 100%. And he takes the queen here. And I noticed that the queen is lined up with the king. So yes, I'm going to move my queen up. And I think at this point, he didn't quite understand this move, but he called out, like, I think you might want to go to a4. And yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to get rid of his pieces. I wanted to get rid of them, especially at the expense of my rook, because I did see this. If I, get a queen in here, queen would take and rook would take. So I did notice that. So here comes another point where the pawn reaches my pawns. This took a little time to think about because I had to play it the right way. If I played it the wrong way, I'm going to get checkmated. And my initial thought was f6, but I was always told never play f6. So I'm thinking about taking, and so I could take here and here. And I didn't want to take with my h-pawn because if I take here, like he can get in. Like he can get in here and it's not good for me. So I looked at, taking with this, and it's exactly what I did, because if he goes here, I'm locking it up. I'm locking it up. And I think he called that out during the game. And I'm going to leave the game down in the comments. I'm going to post the game. So if you guys actually want to see the full game, go ahead and go down in the comments, and it'll send you right there. So that's what I was going to do if I take and he took back. But I think Nelson did go h6. He did. And then from there, I'm thinking, yeah, he can take my pawn, but I don't have to do anything. I just use it as a shield. Once we got to this position, I was like, okay, great. I think I want to move my queen up and take out the queen. So yeah, that's what I did, even at the sacrifice. And yeah, he did take. And so I just left the pawn there. Like, that's it. I have nothing else to do there. He has nothing else to do there. And I think I escaped that kind of little dilemma. And so, yeah, I would trade queens. Little material loss there, but I feel like I needed to do it. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but this is what I saw at the time under the immense stress I was experiencing. Brought my rook over, and then in this position, he moved back to b1, and I saw immediately that my light square bishop does, hit the light squares. So in my eyes, I thought the next two moves are pretty obvious. And I did some calculations here too. Like if I moved here and he moved one of the rooks, either way, my next move would be d4. And so I think it did happen that way. Yeah, exactly. Like my bishop is looking at this. It wants to go here. Look at the light squares. And then, if he did happen to take here, which he didn't, I was going to do this. Like I saw that. And as a 1200, like people don't think you see that as a 1200, and you might not sometimes, but I did. And that was my plan. Now, of course, that didn't happen. He didn't take the pawn. Like, Nelson sees these things. So he plays this move, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm still getting my bishop up there. And then he moved the king here. And I had a couple thoughts in this position. I thought about making my piece better, which was the bishop. Here and here, but I felt like it's way too slow. It's way too slow. And then, of course, let's get the rook into the action. So I did that. And he moved his king back here. And then I think I moved this move here pretty quick to cut off the king. I have him on the back rank. I can cut him off here. And in this position, the nervousness hit so hard because I'm actually thinking like this is a possibility that I might win this. Like when you feel that, the anxiety like 10 times over gets worse. I'm literally here shaking. Like, I'm so locked in, like the tunnel vision is real. But also in this position, I have this motif recognition, and there is a slight recognition here. Like this is a move where, he can get checkmated. And I think here it says mate in 6. So I'm feeling it like, okay, this is cool. He moves here. And I move my pawn up like, okay, yeah, I do recognize this because there's a thing here where I can check him and he would have to take, and that could be a queen. So I'm like, this is it. And then he moves the his rook up here, and I'm not even seeing this move. Like this, if I saw this, I would have definitely played it, and I would have been in a better place. But I didn't see this. Like, my vision is on this side of the board. This right here. This is all I'm seeing, and I'm trying to keep a watch on my time too, because I'm under time pressure. So it's kind of like you're kind of looking at the time with your peripheral, and you're looking up in this little section, and I noticed this motif, but it's like you have to figure it out. And I'm just like, I'm shaking and I'm looking at it, and man, if you guys could feel that, like, I don't know if I'm describing it correctly, but I wish you guys could feel that. So I decided to trade off the pieces, which wasn't the best move, but getting rid of those pieces and having the bishops are great in the end game. And I think this is the part, like in the first part of the video, where he says, I think he's going to win. And now I'll let you see exactly what happened and exactly what anxiety looks like and can look like in a game that you're winning.
All right. He's probably going to win. Probably going to win. Oh no! I'm trying to hold on, guys. I am trying. He's got mate. He's got a whole bunch of mates. Does he see him? Nope. Not quite. Let me try to run. Let's see. Check, that's mate. Okay, let me go here. Oh, I could have taken the bishop. Oh, man. Oh my. Steven, so close. And I had one piece left. So technically I got the win.
I even looked at this move, and for some reason I thought his pawn could take. I'm looking at the pawn and I'm like, oh, I can't move there. He's going to take. And it's like I'm hallucinating or something, and like, I'm looking at it now and I see it. I see the move. I see it. That's so easy. 100% that's easy. But when I was in the moment, when I was, how do we get here? Yeah, when I was in the moment, I didn't do it because I thought if I moved here, he would take. That is ridiculous. But that's how it is, and that's how it went. And hopefully we can do this thing again in the future. This was really cool to do. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and let me know if you felt some sort of anxiety in your games. I mean, it's natural, it's okay. And if we could like somehow figure out how to control it, I think we all could be a force to be reckoned with in our chess gameplay. So yeah, you guys take care, and I'll see you in the next one.